In the fall and in the spring, it's common to find baby squirrels falling out of nests in parks or yards, things like that. And we do recommend trying to first reunite those baby squirrels with their parents before attempting to bring them to a wildlife center. It's important that we try and give the parents as much of an opportunity to pick up their baby squirrels as possible, as parents can often teach them skills we can't teach at our wildlife center, such as return calls from squirrels, as well as, most importantly, how to build a nest. A squirrel nest typically looks like a big bushel of leaves all together higher up in a tree, and squirrels will have multiple of these nests in different trees nearby.
So there are some circumstances that we would not recommend trying to reunite a baby squirrel with its mother. Some of those reasons could be an injury or like skin discoloration, something like that, caught by a cat, dog, or a hawk. This does not mean just cats roaming the neighborhood. This is if a cat physically does catch a baby squirrel. If there are flies circling around the baby squirrel, that's cause for concern. Also, if there are ants crawling on the baby, it can cause tiny little wounds, so we want to bring those in as well. If the baby is dehydrated, we want to bring those in as well. You can tell if they're dehydrated by pinching the back of their back and seeing if the skin returns to the original shape within 1 second. If the baby is without its parents for at least 24 hours, then we would recommend bringing them in as well. If the baby is mobile with its eyes open and it's approaching people, then we would want to bring those in as well. And if it is a flying squirrel, if it has flaps that attach its arms and legs to its body, then we would recommend bringing those in as well and not attempting to reunite those. So if none of those circumstances apply, then we will want to try to reunite the baby with its parents. So what we're going to do first is check to see if the baby is cold and needs to be warmed up. So to do that, you'll just touch it on its back, see if it's cold to the touch. And there's a few ways you can help warm it back up before you try to reunite it. So you can either use a heating pad, half on, half off the heating pad. Make sure there is some type of soft cloth in between the baby and the heating pad. We want to make sure that the heating pad is set to low, not high. You can burn the baby. Or you can use a water bottle, a plastic water bottle, heated up to be warm, or even like a rice-filled sock heated up to be warm. So once you have warmed the baby, you want to make sure you are wearing gloves and make sure you do not feed the baby at all. It can cause harm to their digestive tract, it can cause aspiration, it can cause death even. It can also cause gastrointestinal issues, so just make sure you're not feeding the baby before trying to reunite it with its mother. Okay, so for reuniting instructions, you're going to find a shallow box and make sure you have some type of soft cloth in there with the baby, and you can keep the heat source, the warmed water bottle or rice-filled sock, in there with it. Just make sure that the cloth is between the baby and the heat source. So there are a couple of things you can do. First, make sure you go to the tree that was nearby where it was found. So we want to make sure we put this box off of the ground. So you can either put it on a chair, or you can even nail it to a tree. Just make sure it is off the ground so ants can't get to it. So what you're going to do next is go to our website, HoustonHumaneWildlife.org, and go to Found an Animal page to the squirrel page, and there is a link to a baby squirrel cry video that's on YouTube. You'll set the video to loop and set the phone next to the baby squirrel and let that play for 15 minutes off and on. So you'll do 15 minutes on, 30 minutes off, 15 minutes on, 30 minutes off, up to 4 hours. After those 4 hours, if the mother has not come back and retrieved its baby, then you'll take the baby back inside with you and follow the temporary care instructions until you can get it to your nearest wildlife center or wildlife rehabilitator.
If after 4 hours of trying to reunite and the parents do not come by, we would suggest following temporary care instructions that would be prepping a cardboard box with air holes poked inside, paper towel or t-shirt type material at the bottom, using gloves to gently place the baby in the box, and keeping it on heat. We would not suggest any food or water for this, and keeping it in a dark and quiet place overnight. Make sure that there's no pets or children nearby, no loud noises, and as soon as temporary care instructions over, you're able to call us the next day whenever we're available. Please call us at 713-468-8972.